at our top stories. Tonight, First Lady Janet Museveni meets envoys, hold meeting on Uganda's education sector. UPDF generals to be retired subjected to classified documentation process. Medics on strike over salary disparities, lives of patients at risk. Medical students take charge of wards. And in sports, Entebbe breeds a community-based volleyball club. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. My name is Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma, and let's get started. The First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Mr. Janet Museveni, has held separate meetings with envoys of Britain, Norway and France. She discussed various issues in the education and sports sectors that require further support from Uganda's development partners. The meetings held at State Lodge Nakasero were also attended by State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Moriku Kaduchu, State Minister for Sports, Dennis Hamson Oboa, and the Permanent Secretary at the Education Ministry, Katie Lamaro.
While meeting the British High Commissioner to Uganda, Her Excellency Kate Airy, the First Lady was grateful that the UK aid-funded Cecil program has been given an extension of 1 year. She said this program is very important and doing great at improving learning outcomes for both girls and boys in the country. She also lauded the British government and other partners in development for supporting the school-based surveillance for early identification, reporting and management of emerging COVID-19 cases in schools. Ambassador Kate Airy explained that they understand the importance of the school-based surveillance program because it is an insurance to keep the schools and education institutions open if COVID comes back. She added that currently only 18% of schools have been registered on the school-based surveillance program and called for an increase on this rate. While meeting with Norway's ambassador to Uganda, Her Excellency Elin Ostebo Johansen, Mrs. Janet Museveni requested Norway to support the training of trainers in oil and gas at the Uganda Petroleum Institute, Chigumba.
Because now I'm not so confident that we're doing everything we need to do to prepare for oil and gas. And we're getting there. So, just to understand, so what you are saying is you need training of trainers. Exactly. So it's about bringing them to Norway and getting trained and we can start with that, and then we can have some of the Norwegian trainers to come here and train our people here. Because this should be ongoing courses in time, because we can't say we have trained sufficient numbers. It's enough. When we start producing oil and gas, we will need these people all the time.
Ambassador Elin Johansen observed that her government is particularly interested in vocational training, and therefore the training of trainers could be accommodated under the institutional cooperation.
Yeah. When I looked at the report from the institute, I see that they have a lot of vocational training. And I think that is crucial, and I think that is what we talked about last time. Because yes, engineers do the planning and the overall things about the how to do the exploration of oil in a good way. But you also need the welders and the electricians and the plumbers and everybody around that needs to do the work. And that is an experience we had in Norway many years ago when we started up. You need a lot of people doing this important job. So for me, I'm particularly interested in vocational training, but also this is something that is in the forefront of the development thinking of the new government in Norway. It's been in office for half a year now. So I think the timing is pretty good.
She also reported that the findings from the survey on hidden school charges will be released at the end of June this year.
In this plan, they are found to what the extent they call.
In the First Lady's meeting with His Excellency Jules Armand Anyambasu, they discussed the possibility of the French support going towards some critical projects in the education and sports sector.
A stimulus package for the economy, a plan about how to support the African countries' health system, and they also plan, especially focus on two other issues, how to develop our partnership with the African scientists, because this pandemic that is not unfortunately finished, even if the situation is getting better.
These include instructional materials for the new lower secondary school curriculum for Senior 3 and Senior 4, infrastructure development in schools and vocational institutes, plus equipment for technical and vocational education and training institutes.
The NRM chairperson, also President of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has been tentatively scheduled to head to Omoro district on the 24th of this month to wrap the campaign program for the party flag bearer in the Omoro County parliamentary by-election. Now, according to the Director Communication NRM Party, Emmanuel Dombo, the President will also visit the late Speaker's home in Laloge. Robert Onyango gives us more.
Campaigns for Omoro County parliamentary by-elections have commenced this Monday.
Today, the candidates started the parish-to-parish elections.
Among the participants is the NRM party, which has sponsored Andrew Ojok as its candidate.
Andrew, in the previous elections, worked very closely with his father, and he had an opportunity to know many people who were involved in the campaigns.
The 10-day exercise will call for strategies and resilience for any party or individual to secure victory.
When you look at the structure of organization, there is no other party in Uganda which has the structures that the National Resistance Movement has. Therefore, this becomes a very strong advantage.
For NRM, plans to hold back this victory have been laid down.
The reaction of the public during the process of nomination is anything to go by. I can assure you and our viewers that NRM will go for success in Omoro.
The party campaign team is being led by Catherine Lamwaka, the Omoro District Woman Member of Parliament.
She has done an extremely fantastic job. Right from the pre-conference days, during the conference, during the nomination exercise, managing the meetings and planning the candidates' meetings, and right now, she is so far on top of the game. As a party, we are highly indebted to her because of her personal sacrifice of time, but also her love for the party, which has demonstrated by giving in time to come and support Andrew Ojok.
This, according to Dombo, will be supplemented by other party local members.
There is Mr. Bena Chelam, the former PPS to the Right Honorable Jacob Olanya, the Mr. Aligage, there is the district speaker, and all the other former contenders who had expressed interest but agreed to stand down for Andrew Olanya, and they have gone to mobilize support to ensure that NRM retains the seat in Omoro County.
The NRM party chairperson, also President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, is tentatively expected in the district on 24th May this year.
On the tentative program that was agreed by the returning officer and other candidates, we are expecting to have His Excellency the President on the 24th of May. And he is likely to be in 3 venues. The first venue being Opit Trading Center in Omoro Town Council, where we expect a number of people from various sub-counties to converge in order to listen to His Excellency, the President and National Chairman of NRM.
The President will, among other tasks, pay a visit at the late Jacobo Olanya's home.
We also have been told that the President will be in Lalogi, specifically to lay a wreath to the grave of the former Speaker, but also to address the people in Lalogi Trading Center and the environs. People will gather in Lalogi. And then we shall have the last meeting in Odek at a primary school in Odek sub-county.
Last week, the Electoral Commission successfully nominated 6 candidates to bid for this post, which fell vacant after the demise of the former Speaker, Jacobo Olanya. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
And we'll remain in Omoro momentarily, where the race to replace the former Speaker of the 11th Parliament, Jacob Olanya, officially started today as 6 nominated candidates compete for the MP seat of Omoro County.
District Manyan, Watiki villages or Manyan, and parishes to Manyan, empty Manyan.
Denny Chairman, NRM Omoro District. This, you know, the way party do their thing, the government, it can take like only 60 days. But otherwise, we are still mourning. That is why it's very difficult for us as NRM in Omoro.
Campaigns, of course, in Omoro taking place today. Meanwhile, the National Unity Platform candidate in the Omoro County by-election, Tolit Simon Akecha, has today launched his campaign at Adak Trading Center in Lakwaya sub-county. The veteran politician insists that Omoro County does not need an amateur to spearhead its development. Amidst traditional dances, the people of Omoro County welcomed the National Unity Platform candidate, Tolit Simon Akecha. At Adak Trading Center, the veteran politician expressed his enduring love for Omoro. He hopes to establish a strong health system throughout Omoro County. Tolit, who was also in Parliament from 2006 to 2011, believes that the government was unfair to drop 5 RDCs from the region after the death of former Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya. The campaigns have attracted supporters of rival parties as well, women wearing NRM t-shirts dancing for Tolit. Now, the National Unity Platform is confident of victory. Meanwhile, Uganda Police has dispatched a team of CID detectives to observe and collect the proceedings of Omoro County by-election. The police spokesperson, Fred Enanga, has implored candidates in these elections to correctly observe the harmonized program of the Independent Electoral Commission. Campaigns to fill this position kicked off today, the 16th, and will go on till the 24th of this month, and elections will be held on the 26th of May 2022.
You're more interested in this one. No? Shall not allow for any campaigns beyond 6 p.m. or before 7 a.m. Our teams on the ground have reached out to all candidates and their campaign agents to ensure they abide by the guidelines of the Electoral Commission and follow the harmonized campaign schedules. Therefore, any acts of civil disobedience, dangerous and reckless driving, intimidation, unauthorized parallel campaigns at venues, provocative behavior towards law enforcement personnel, acts of hooliganism, defacing posters, and so on will not be tolerated. We have disseminated our comprehensive policing plan to the territorial commander of Aswa region for implementation without fear or favor. In addition, our task teams have also dispatched CID and CIA personnel to record videos on the respective campaigns or campaign trails documenting the conduct of the political campaigns. We want to wish all candidates a very successful campaign period, and we remain confident as the joint security agencies that we shall deliver a very peaceful campaign process where the rights of the constituents in Omoro and all stakeholders are protected.
Police spokesperson Fred Enanga giving guidelines as far as the Omoro by-elections will be conducted, especially at the time during which these elections should be held. Now, Prime Minister Robin Nabanja has echoed the President's caution against land fragmentation, the need for appropriate enterprise selection and support for the parish development model. Prime Minister Nabanja was at Mubinga Primary School, where she was received by the third Deputy Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama, area members of Parliament and senior government officials.
The Prime Minister had a working visit in Bugweri district where she inspected a number of development projects in the area at the invitation of Uganda's ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, His Excellency Zake Kibedi. Nabanja warned the people of Busoga against degradation of wetlands, saying that the outcome will be disastrous.
Mwena abasoga tutunulidde nfunye omukisa n'empita mu bbanga nindabanga ettaka temukyayina. Njagala tukwate omulanga gwa president tulekeraawo okugabanyagabanya ettaka mu ngeri y'okusikiza.
Samuel Mugasi, the Executive Director, National Agriculture Advisory Services, NADS, says that the people of Busoga need to diversify into cattle keeping and also get perennial crop that can help them earn money all year round.
And that's why we are seeing the dairy value chain in Uganda is developing and is doing extremely well. We are now even moving to a higher level, whereby we are investing now in mini dairy processing plants, which are able to do pasteurized milk, which are able to do ice creams and yogurts, because as of now, we only have the big players.
The Prime Minister later inspected construction works for the new district headquarters located in Busesa Town Council. She pledged continued government support to have the project completed. While at Bugweri Youth and Women's Tailoring Association headquarters, the Prime Minister appreciated efforts being taken to support the government's policy designed to skill Ugandans. In Buyanga sub-county, the Prime Minister presided over a fundraising event for the construction of Buyanga Church of Uganda. The construction project requires over 365 million shillings. The Prime Minister contributed 10 million shillings towards construction of the church. Over 19 million was contributed in cash. Earlier, the Prime Minister paid a courtesy call at the home of the late former 3rd Deputy Prime Minister Alhaji Ali Chirunda Chivejinja in Buwabe, Ibulanku sub-county. Bugweri district is a new district carved out of the greater Iganga district with a total population of about 125,000 people.
Uganda People's Defence Forces UPDF is set to retire a batch of senior military officers, including NRA Bush War heroes. The documentation process exercise for retirees is ongoing at the Ministry of Defence and Veterans Affairs headquarters in Imbuya. Haruna Mutesa gives us more on that story.
34 generals are set to retire from the Uganda People's Defence Forces UPDF in July, according to the linked list in the media. 2 are at a rank of general, 3 are lieutenant generals, 10 at a rank of major general, and 19 are brigadiers. However, Defence spokesperson Brigadier General Felix Raijin, when contacted, claimed no knowledge of the list.
There is a list which came out again last month, leaked. And those of you who called me, I said, please ignore. But some of you publicized it. Now you have another leaked list, somehow different from the first one. And those of you who published the first one have not even a courtesy to say we are sorry, we were wrong. Then you are calling me, Omoro Gwenchagwa Sawa Meka, which Mukuru have I invited you for any?
Kureje urged the media always to utilize his office for the right information.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, please read my eyes. You can't read my lips because I have a mask. I am here for you. My office is available for you. I will always give you information in time. Okay? Do not begin this business of, they call it what? The Bagana call it Okusomola.
Major Jimmy Katende joined the NRA Bush War in 1983 and retired in 2019, shared his experience after serving for 36 years.
Retirement is normal. Because whether you like it or not, you must. But what have I done in order to sustain my retirement after leaving the service? How are you going to maintain the life without the food or the package you have been getting? So it's also a challenge.
Retired Major Katende has advised the officers and militants who will soon transition into civilian life to maintain the discipline acquired over the years in service.
Don't go and booze. Don't go for women. Because tomorrow you see this as a lot of money because they are millions. They give you millions. But don't think you hear the word million. When you are still in service, you get allowances, you get fuel, you get what. When you go outside, that million will be nothing.
He said they were taken through various presentations aimed at helping them understand the retirement process and their entitlement. Retired Major Katende says he learned how to cope with life after retirement from the army service. Haruna Mutesa, UBC News.
Thanks, Haruna, for that report there. And in tonight's extensive broadcast about the retirement of 49 UPDF historical generals, we give an in-depth profile of 2 notable generals on the list of retirees, General David Sejusa and Lieutenant General Proscovia Nalweyiso. Now, General Proscovia Nalweyiso is the first UPDF female officer to rise to that rank.
Born on 13th November 1954, General David Sejusa, also known as David Tinyefunza, is a Ugandan lawyer, military officer and politician. He was the coordinator of intelligence services and a senior presidential advisor to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He served as army commander and also a member of the High Command UPDF, the UPDF Defense Council, and a member of parliament representing the Uganda People's Defense Force. He had a fallout with President Museveni and formed the Freedom and Unity Front in exile. in the United Kingdom after he was charged for plotting a coup on alleged accounts of planning anti-government activities against President Museveni's government. General Sejjusa attended Nyakasura High School. He holds a degree of Bachelor of Laws Honours and Master of Laws from Makerere University. He also attended the Law Development Center for a diploma in legal practice, where he left after a clerkship for cadet training in Tanzania. He was a student leader, the head of the Students' Guild at Makerere University, a resident of Mitchell Hall then. He obtained senior command qualifications of PSC from the Uganda Senior Command and Staff College at Chimaka, Jinja in Uganda. He holds a certificate in information technology he attained from Canada, and he also attended the police cadet course in Tanzania and senior command strategic courses. On 17th February 2012, David Tinyefunza officially changed his name to David Sejjusa. He said that Sejjusa is a family name that is also reflected on some of his academic documents, but that he had abandoned it around secondary school level, but that he would reclaim, as everybody back home refers to him as such. Prior to 1981, David Tinyefunza was a policeman with the Uganda Police Force, serving as Assistant Superintendent of Police. In 1981, he became a combatant in the Uganda Bush War between the Uganda National Liberation Army of Milton Obote and the National Resistance Army of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni from 1981 until 1986. For a period of 10 years following the victory of the NRA in 1986, he served as a member of the National Resistance Army Council and the National Executive Committee. Between 1989 and 1992, he served as the Minister of State for Defense. In 1993, he was appointed Presidential Advisor on Peace and Security, serving under the capacity until 1997. He was appointed Senior Presidential Advisor and Coordinator of Intelligence in 2005, a position he held until 2013. He is married to Juliet Tinyefunza. Proskovia Nalweiso is a senior Ugandan military officer in the Uganda People's Defense Force. At the rank of Lieutenant General, she is the highest-ranking female officer in the Ugandan military. She was born in June 1954 in Impigi district in a family of 20 children. In 1979, she began working as a school teacher and a typist in her home area. During this period, she became an active member of the Ugandan Democratic Party. Following the 1980 Ugandan national elections and the subsequent formation of the National Resistance Army, Nalweiso joined the guerrilla bush war in 1982. In 1983, a unit of female NRA fighters was formed and Nalweiso was appointed as its commandant. The following year, the unit was relocated from Luwero district in central Uganda to western Uganda. In 1985, the unit Nalweiso commanded participated in the NRA forces that attacked Mbarara military barracks. Following that deployment, the NRA Women's Wing settled in Fort Portal until the war ended in 1986. In 1986, when the NRA captured power, Nalweiso was given the rank of captain and appointed the commandant of the 800-member Women's Wing in the army. She steadily rose through the ranks and by 2000 was at the rank of lieutenant colonel. For over a decade prior to her promotion to Major General, she had worked at the Uganda State House as an aide and military advisor to the President of Uganda. In February 2019, in a promotions exercise that involved over 2,000 men and women of the UPDF, she was promoted from the rank of Major General to Lieutenant General. In 1974, while still a civilian, Nalweiso married an army officer and she later separated from her husband. She is a mother of 4 children.
Profiles of 2 great generals there. Now, Colonel retired Dr. Warren Kiza Besigye Chifefe is worried about the heavy security deployment around his home. He wants government to remove them in order for him to access medication and do his chores and assignments. Now, this message was delivered by a team of lawyers led by Arias Lukwago, who visited him at his home in Kasangati condemning his preventive house arrest following his following his protest at the escalating prices on essential commodities last week. Evan Juko gives us more.
Last week, security cordoned off the former FDC leader, retired Colonel Kiiza Besigye, who was footing to Kampala, protesting the high prices for essential goods and commodities. Besigye, who threatened not to give up with the processions and protests, was anticipated to pick from last week's move. This morning, we found our way to Kasangati to catch any developments related to his agenda. However, the road to his home was inaccessible as the police van was parked in the way to block anyone from reaching his home. Security was beefed up all over the place, leading to his home with the security personnel and vehicles patrolling. At 11:30 a.m., a team of lawyers led by Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago and politicians finally arrived to meet Besigye, only to be denied entry by security.
Here, as a team of lawyers who want to have an interaction with Dr. Besigye, as you are aware, he was incarcerated since Thursday. Preventive arrest is unconstitutional, is illegal, and that the presence of these police officers here is a breach of the law.
A moment of scuffle surfaced between security and the lawyers, resulting into a tug of war.
Dr. Besigye.
For security reasons today, it is a
pity. Is he under any threat? Are we a threat, possibly? Are we considered a threat? Because we're his lawyers.
Because we have their paperwork we are working on, and he has to sign, he has to also have his input.
Lord Mayor, for all the due respect, you can do it some other time, but not today.
Security led by the Osi Manyangwa Nyesiga dared not to allow these lawyers to meet Besigye as the inquiry went to visit their client.
We are not here to fight. We are not here.
We're not going to fight. We're not going to
do anything.
We're not going to beat anybody. We just want to have a discussion with the security.
For today, when shall we do it? Anyway?
Any other time you can come.
Nyesiga later changed heart, and an agreement was reached, giving access to only 5 lawyers to walk into Besigye's home. However, security made it mandatory for the visiting lawyers to send in the visitor's book amidst controversies from the lawyers, who said the book wasn't from Besigye's home. After meeting Besigye, the team gave a narrative of Besigye's status, asserting that he wants security off his premises, among other fundamentals.
Found him in not very bad shape, but in not very good shape either, because a man who has been imprisoned in his own house cannot be a happy man.
Further demand that police should respect the court order which was issued earlier on, the one which was issued by the Kasangati Chief Magistrate Court here, and another one issued by the High Court, to the effect that his home should not be turned into a prison.
Police spokesman Freddie Nanga has vowed not to let Besigye sabotage peace and business in the city center, and he advised him to seek formal permission for any development.
To continue warning politicians on plans to hold unlawful assemblies and processions, upon the retired Colonel Dr. Kiiza Besigye to respect rule of law and notify the police 3 days in advance indicating his plans.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC News.
The UPDF has arrested Asimwe Mark Andrew for impersonating General Salim Saleh and extorting money from the public, promising them jobs abroad. The Army spokesperson, Brigadier General Felix Kulayije, says Asimwe was using multiple Facebook accounts to hoodwink people for personal gains. Nasir Abdulubama reports.
Through false pretense, Asimwe Mark Andrew extorted 4 million Ugandan shillings from desperate Ugandans in the names of the National Coordinator, Operation Wealth Creation, General Salim Saleh.
The subject confessed also to have defrauded over 200 people in pretense of taking them for jobs abroad. And he admits to have conned money. He preferred online communication with his clients and avoided physical meetings for fear of being detected.
UPDF learned that Asimi was using multiple Facebook accounts to convince people about getting them jobs abroad at a fee ranging from 50,000 shillings to 80,000 shillings. The Army spokesperson, Brigadier General Felix Kiijanangoma, has explained the fate of this masquerader.
That he was motivated into this scam in December 2020, when he also fell victim of it. That he was defrauded of Uganda shillings 200,000 by a one Jackson, who masqueraded as a personal assistant to General Salim Musale, and was also running a Facebook account in the names of Salim Musale, allegedly connecting people for jobs in Canada. Although the subject claims to be operating this scam alone, it is likely that he has associates in this crime, whom we are investigating.
The Army spokesperson, Brigadier General Felix Kiijanangoma, has given an update on a case of a traffic police constable, Robert Mukebezi, who was shot at by CMA detective Babalanda Bashir Mango while on duty.
The bastard is still on the run, the fool who shot him, and we are continuing to hunt for him. In the meantime, what have we done? We continue to nurse the comrade, and when the 6 months expire that the doctors gave him, we shall give him the artificial limb as we promised.
On the increasing assault of traffic officers on the road by UPDF soldiers, Kiijanangoma says all military vehicles with plate and color identification have the right of way.
Military vehicles have a color? Answer me. Answer me. Do military vehicles have a color? Finished. Don't ask me other things. Of course, we are on duty 24/7. All military vehicles on duty have right of way. According to Section 120 of the Traffic Act, subsection 5.
UPDF is investigating the matter where a soldier was captured harassing a traffic officer by his collar for failure to clear the way for their vehicle to pass. UPDF has confirmed the arrest of Private Tugumi for the action. Abdul Nasale Lubwama, UBC News.
38 minutes after 10 in the studios of UBC TV. We will now take a very short break and return with much more. Do stay with us.
Jennifer, Jukira, Rewagamba, I don't have waka. You bust the eyes through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jangola Rewaka, look at you waka, see my waka.
Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Football packages, great entertainment,
sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where the stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Ugandan shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Mirinda. Grab yourself an ice-cold bottle of Mirinda Orange at any shop or supermarket near you. Mirinda Orange, the taste that makes you go OMG.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Now, prosecution number 8, Detective Constable Kamugisha Kenneth, who managed the scene of crime in the case where 19 suspects were accused of killing police officers in different parts of the country, presented to court photos, a cartridge and a sketch map showing the killed police officers. Now, the photos presented to court included the one for Police Constable Kiijanangoma Moses and Corporal Okech Alfred, who were killed in Sebobo village in Mityana district.
The 19 suspects who are accused of murdering police officers in different parts of the country have once appeared at the General Court Martial in Machinde for the hearing of the case against them. Prosecution witness number 7 was Joseph Mujumba Kakungulu, aged 85 years, a peasant farmer at Sebobo village in Mityana district. Joseph Mujumba Kakungulu narrated to court how he was in his garden harvesting coffee and heard gunshots, but after a while there came 2 boys walking with each holding a gun, asking him for help. According to Mzee Kakungulu, the 2 boys asked him for a sack to put their guns, which he did genuinely. Kakungulu says that he went home and informed the area chairperson, who later came at his home with the police officers to get a statement from him with the boys. Kakungulu was, however, not able to identify the alleged boys, citing long time since he last saw them, although he later identified Awan Senyanga Bob Robert. Prosecution witness number 8 was Detective Constable Kenneth Kamugisha, aged 35, attached to Mityana Police Station. Detective Constable Kenneth Kamugisha was the scene of crime officer who took photos at the scene of crime where the 2 police officers, Constable Kiijanangoma Moses and Corporal Okech Alfred, were allegedly murdered and robbed by the accused persons. The incident happened at Sebobo village near Happy Hours Primary School in Mityana district. The photos were presented to court.
Overview of the whole scene of crime. The second one shows the position where the deceased PC Kiijanangoma Moses was found lying. This one shows the position of the deceased PC Kiijanangoma Moses where he was found lying. This one shows another cartridge case which was recovered near the body of late Corporal Okech.
Detective Constable Kenneth Kamugisha also presented to court a sketch map showing how the incident happened. All the exhibits were tendered into court without defense's objection. Other police officers who are alleged to have been killed by the accused persons include Captain Francis Nsubuga and Superintendent of Police Damba Francis. The accused persons, who are said to belong to Uganda National Coalition Force for Change, committed these offences on the 25th of November 2021. Lieutenant General Andrew Guti adjourned the matter to the 24th of May 2022 for further hearing of the case. Nathan Rebecca, Namamonde Deborah, UBC News.
Let's cross borders now and go to neighboring Kenya, where Raila Odinga has picked Martha Karua as his running mate in the August 9th, 2022 presidential polls. According to Raila Odinga, Karua will serve as the Deputy President and Cabinet Secretary in charge of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Over the weekend, the Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate William Ruto named Mathira MP Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate. Charlotte Mbuge reports.
My dear Kenyans, cometh the hour, cometh the lady. I have the great honor to announce that I have picked as my running mate and Cabinet Secretary for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, the Honorable Martha Wangari Karua.
Martha Karua, who has been on the campaign trail with Raila, is now a running mate with the potential of becoming the first female deputy president. Odinga has tasked Karua, who will serve as the deputy president and cabinet secretary in charge of justice and constitutional affairs in Odinga's government, to improve the Constitution of Kenya 2010 for an improved country. Karua was among the 3 names submitted to the Azimio One Kenya Coalition presidential candidate for the deputy president position by the committee mandated to conduct interviews for interested candidates. Despite missing the country's second most powerful seat, Odinga nominated Kalonzo Musyoka as chief secretary to supervise and coordinate government functions. However, Kalonzo announced later on that he's ditching Raila's camp to run for president.
And I'm saying what I'm just said here is in absolute good faith. In fact, the terms of engagement under this Grand Coalition agreement is based on utmost good faith. And where there is no good faith, then you can't do business. And some of us have suffered the consequences of bad faith for far too long. I mean, for how long do people expect one Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to be the one always to sacrifice? Always to sacrifice. And then after sacrificing, they mess up the country. We will not allow this to continue.
Kalonzo said he felt there were pertinent issues that needed revisiting and did not agree with Raila's running mate pick. Deputy President William Ruto, the Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate, yesterday named Mathira MP Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate.
And we started that journey together. He understands people issues. He is passionate about ordinary people. My friend, I present to you the Kenya Kwanza running mate candidate, my brother and friend, Rigathi Gachagua.
Charlotte Mbuge and Dennis Sigoa for UBC News.
Charlotte and Dennis Sigoa, thank you so much for that report there. And those are the happenings in Kenya, and of course the elections eagerly awaited in the entire East African region. The Commissioner, Transport, Regulation and Safety at the Ministry of Works and Transport, Winston Katushabe, has said installation of speed governors will not curb rampant accidents on Ugandan roads. He urges motorists to commit and observe the most basic rules while driving, such as observing speed limits, avoiding intoxicants and reducing driving distractions. Let's get more in this report.
In just 2 weeks, 4 fatal road accidents have cost the lives of over 40 people and left over 100 severely injured. Reckless driving and vehicles with poor mechanical conditions are blamed for the rampant accidents.
Most of these challenges are caused by human error. Yes, there are areas to do with the vehicles, others to do with maybe sometimes the roads, but you can see now the road network largely is improved.
Work on the car. If the brakes have an issue, don't say it's me who knows how to drive my car. I'll use my car. Something can happen and another person has to drive that car, and they don't know how the brakes work. So in the process, we shall have carnage. So we advise people to make sure they work on their cars, ensure the car is roadworthy before putting it on the road. Then also respect road signages. You look at the nature of the road, even if the road sign was stolen off. But if you start seeing corners, please reduce the speed.
To curb the accidents, there is a proposal for the return of speed governors to be installed on all passenger service vehicles and trucks. We floated the proposal to the Commissioner of Transport Regulation and Safety in the Ministry of Works and Transport.
You know, they were largely analog. And here drivers can easily tamper with these speed governors. So what we are trying to look at now is what we call the digital speed limiters. With this one, you can even have a dashboard and you can monitor the conduct and behavior of the driver.
This was at the Vivo Energy Uganda Perfect Road Safety Record celebrations over the weekend. The 2-decade Drivers and Hauliers League Awards are aimed at recognizing and motivating the drivers' commitment to health and safety on the road.
We achieved last year 17 million kilometers accident-free, which I think is a great achievement, and that's one of the main reasons why we are here. So I say the biggest contributions for us is basically training, upskilling our drivers, make sure they are aware, make sure they adhere to the rules of the road, and at least live our motto, which is Goal Zero.
Grobella believes benchmarking with government will go a long way in curbing crashes and enhancing road safety. Ismail Wario from Seabed Transport Company was the overall winner with 100% score. He was among 400 other drivers who were recognized for their exemplary performance in 2021. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
Uganda National Cultural Centre and management of Uganda National Theatre have revealed that they are committed to protect and preserve Uganda's historical cultural heritage centre despite the fire outbreak that gutted kiosks at the perimeter fence of the heritage centre on Sunday.
Preliminary investigations reveal that the fire was caused by a welder who was hired by the owner of one of the kiosks, who has since been arrested and is helping police with investigations. Speaking in an interview with the public relations officer of National Theatre, Robert Musitwa, contrary to earlier local media reports that National Theatre had been burnt, says the National Theatre main building was not affected.
The National Theatre building was not affected by what happened last evening, the fire outbreak that took place in our parking lot where one of the kiosks was burned down. We want to tell you that National Theatre Management and Board of Trustees will always work to make sure that the National Theatre building is secure and is not affected by whatever.
Renowned musician and chairman National Cultural Forum Daniel Kazibwe, commonly known as Ragadi, says the owners of the burnt businesses need hope following the burning of their businesses to hush.
Our friends, our sisters and brothers have lost eventually our business again kubeera stuck a bit. Just so Katonda abagumye then okulaba ng'eki tebayinza okuddamu okukola.
One of the affected businessmen, Kawesa Fred, who deals in second-hand shoes, is still puzzled with what exactly ought to have gone wrong.
Omuliro gwakutte jjo tegwansanzeewo naye twafiiridde ebintu bingi kati nganze mbadde ntunda engatto neza bakama bange ze bandeetera okukiriininga n'okumaintaininga.
Located in the capital, Kampala, the National Theatre is a piano-shaped building that also houses the normal gallery. The 60-year-old building will be overshaped in July with construction works of a 36-storage state-of-the-art multi-purpose complex as part of the new redevelopment plans, which will be the new National Theatre. The new National Theatre will occupy the entire parking lot, occupying the space of the burnt kiosks. Developers say the proposed facility will cost an estimated $100 million and will include a shopping mall, arcades, art galleries, restaurants and eateries, cinemas and underground car parking lots. Brian Tumwinebiarohanga, UBC News.
Journalists in Greater Kibale have been challenged to exhibit high degree of media ethics and professionalism and desist from uncalled for offers meant to compromise their work. Speaking as chief guest at the belated Press Freedom Day for Greater Kibale, Kagadi Deputy RDC Benjamin Tumsime pointed out that journalism has been marred by unprofessional news reporters who spread fake news on various media platforms, calling on journalists to fight the vice.
Dr. Mwalimu Musheshe, the Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Rural Development and Training Programs, who has been at the forefront in sponsoring students in journalism courses, said some proprietors of TV and radio stations need to improve on the remuneration for journalists.
Forcing people to practice unethical journalism. They are forcing journalists to practice unethical journalism, to scratch, to hunt, to look for, and yet a journalist is not supposed to go through all those pains.
The Kagadi Woman Member of Parliament, Jennifer Chomhendo Mbabazi, who donated 2 million shillings to the Journalists Circle of Omoro South Journalists Association, acknowledged the tremendous role played by journalists and pledged for more support.
Associations of journalists, we have met the head of journalism in Uganda. We have seen your, we have looked through the challenges, some of them we know.
Omoro South Journalists Association now has over 100 members. It started in 2018 with an aim of uniting journalists in Greater Kibale, Kagadi and Kakumiro.
Be alert. Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Affordable packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Jennifer, Jukila, Rewagamba, I don't have waka. You passed the ice through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jangola be waka, look at you waka, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Show them waka with MTN Momo Nyabo. Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
The Oil and Gas Moment, brought to you by Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey. Uganda's oil and gas resources are located within pristine environments. The oil and gas activities are benchmarked on Uganda's updated environment legislation and on the international best practice standards in order to continuously ensure coexistence between the oil activities and Uganda's rich biodiversity. This is being achieved using improved technology to reduce environmental footprint, mapping of sensitive ecological features for avoidance, improving standards of waste management and development and implementation of tools for environment management. These include the Albertine Graben Environment Monitoring Plan, Strategic Environmental Assessment, various environmental sensitivity atlases, and the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan, among others. For more information, visit www.pau.go.ug. Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Diocese of Kigezi. Diocese of Kigezi will be receiving their 6th bishop, the Right Reverend God and Mama Charity Akanjona, on 29th of May 2022 at Kigezi High School Primary Lower Grounds. On Friday 27th May 2022 at 12 p.m, Synod members, canons, all clergy and nearby Christians will converge at St. Peter's Cathedral to say farewell to Bishop George and Mama Chris Bagamhunda. On 28th May at 11 a.m, all Christians will meet the Bishop-elect at Rutobo and go to Nyikunama Primary School playground for presentations and entertainment. At 11:30, we'll have a procession to St. Peter's Cathedral Rugarama, which will begin from Mohanga. And at exactly 2:30 p.m, the Bishop-elect will be received at St. Peter's Cathedral. And on Sunday, 29th of May, it will be the day of consecration and enthronement at Kigezi High School Primary Grounds, led by the Archbishop of the province of Uganda, the Most Reverend Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu. God bless
you. Even with my grandson, a doctor at my side, I struggled to get the help I needed. But he saw something that day. He began to work day and night. He wouldn't quit, even when people said no. He wouldn't stop fighting. He knew something had to change, and his vision was bigger than anyone could imagine. He made it possible to receive quality medical services anywhere in Uganda by simply using a phone.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at what's happening in the world of sport, and we begin with volleyball, where after embroiling in different sports disciplines, Entebbe area has been yearning for a volleyball club. Surrounded by different schools that take on volleyball as a sport, a void had been noticed for some time. Now, a community-based volleyball club has been formulated. This will enhance talent identification in this area. We have more in this story.
Volleyball players in Entebbe municipality will no longer take long journeys in quest for a volleyball club to be affiliated to. Entebbe Volleyball Club has been formulated and affiliated to the Uganda Volleyball Federation. Joseph Luganda, the president of the new club, says Entebbe happens to be a big and corporate community, and the search for volleyball talent can officially start.
Our reason for establishing this Entebbe Volleyball Club, dubbed EBB, is to come up with what we call a consortium, a network, to bring together all the teams that wish to be part of the volleyball journey in Entebbe.
We want to have the community join us. We want to have that inclusion of the children and everyone that has the love, that has the passion, that can participate into this sporting activity.
The club further looks at creating more avenues of unity through sports, as well as sponsors coming on board to address the issue of finances.
Entebbe has the talent, Entebbe has the young generation
that has resulted in other things. But we believe that with the help of the team that is before you guys, we can change the message out there.
The first target areas for talent identification are schools that have taken on the game.
And we've almost come to the end of this bulletin, but before we leave you, let's have a look at our top stories. Tonight, First Lady Janet Museveni meets envoys, holds meeting on Uganda's education sector. UPDF generals to be retired subjected to classified documentation process. Medics on strike over salary disparities, lives of patients at risk. And in sports, Entebbe breeds a community-based volleyball club. At 6 minutes after 11 in the studios of UBC TV, we finally come to the end of this second and final edition of News Tonight this Monday. We thank you so much for having kept us company. Thank you so much and have a blessed night.
From the UBC Auditorium is proudly brought to you by...
I will love you. You wish.
I'm not faking this, no fugazi. You see these feelings, I'm not catching. I'm a Western feet, I just want to be happiness. If I broke on my business, I'ma show you right. All I care for the night. Happiness. If I broke now my business, I'm trying to go right to all I care for the night. I finally assess if you be the reason why your baba want to jealous me. If you want to take us serious, I do top speed. No fit to resonate, I'm on a different frequency. I don't think it's necessary. I be done with somebody that could do like me. When I be like Musana coming off the right wing, I cut to your defender, you no need to tell me. I'm a finesse. You know, send me a must net. I don't care, I will carry go. If me, I got money past you. If you're not careful, finesse. You know, send me a must net. I don't care, I will carry go. If me, I got money past you. If you're not careful, finesse. One more time, say. If I broke down my business, I know you go right to it. All I care for the night. If I broke down my business, I know you go right to it. Let's go! Yeah! To I'm not type of word physically, but lyrically. Give me the yeke, ragamuffin yeke. Give me the yeke, don't sata yeke. Give me the yeke, shotgun yeke. Give me the yeke, I was not yeke. Give me the yeke, ragamuffin yeke. Give me the yeke, don't sata yeke. Give me the yeke, shotgun yeke. Give me the yeke, I was not yeke. I'm not for the bitches on the bumper generate. Not for the bumper before the style I create.